Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker, and joining me today for what I'm sure will be a very exciting Below Deck Down Under recap, Ronnie Karam. Hi, Ronnie.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
What a day. I mean, when you think this show can't give you a twist and a turn, I didn't see that coming at all on Below Deck Mid. Did not see it coming.
Not at all. You even told me, because you had seen it before me, you said, oh, there was a twist. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, I got caught up in it, so I sort of forgot that there was a twist, but I still was kind of scoping it out. And like, that was just not a twist I saw at all. I thought like maybe the twist was going to be that Beyond put his hand on Alicia's back in the galley and was going to come out. But I did not expect that.
Oh, so you got close. You got close,
but it wasn't. But that's not this. It wasn't. It was 100% not the same. It was still like what happened was so surprising, and it was like watching a movie or a soap opera. You don't think these things really happen in real life. These snafus. It was like almost like hilarious if it wasn't like such a heightened moment.
Yeah. Oh, it went crazy. But anywho, we'll get to that.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, let me tell everyone what's up, which is that we're going to Boston, Detroit, and Chicago this week, and we're going to have the best time. So in Boston, we're going to recap the Beverly Hills reunion, which will be hilarious because we haven't been able to do any housewives on this tour yet, I think. Although I think we did Salt Lake City, but then
some classics.
Yeah,
someone was like, "Oh, Beverly Hills is going to be such a dark episode this week on the reunion. Are you sure you're going to do that?" Listen, we recapped the Holocaust episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills Live, and it was a great show. Yeah. We had a great time, so don't worry.
Yeah, don't worry about it. And then on Friday, we're going to go to Detroit and do a classic It's Not About the Pasta episode of Vanderpump Rules, which is also one of their gay pride episodes. So you know that's going to be great. That's from season 6. I think it's episode 7, but it's called It's Not About the Pasta. It's literally called that. And then on Saturday, Chicago, which is, I believe, sold out. And we are going to do Summer House, which is, so great. So it's going to be a big fun time. And then in May, next month, we have only a few shows. We have Dallas and Austin and Las Vegas. It's our first Vegas show ever. So come out and represent. Let's have a great time in Sin City. And then, I don't even have to tell you guys to do that in Dallas and Austin because you guys always do. And you guys are always wild. And it's amazing. So looking forward to that. WatchACrappens.com for those tickets. And then, of course, on Patreon, you can watch us with Crappens on Demand. Hello, hello, hello. But on top of that, we just did a double bonus episode recapping the White Lotus season finale, which is super fun. So go to patreon.com/watchacrappens. And also just a bit of self-promotion. I'm going to do a dual self-promotion because I'm going to promote you too, Ronnie. One, over on Ronnie's Instagram, he's doing travel logs, which are really fun. So if you ever wanted to see what his Italian vacation was last summer, he's putting up little videos. So go check those out. They're really funny. And then my self-promotion is that I have a food newsletter called NBD Fancy. And I cooked a whole Thai meal for White Lotus. And so if you want to see what I cooked, go to nbdfancy.substack.com.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Thank you.
I was just looking at that before this.
That's just blatant self-promotion there. That stuff at the end, that's just pure.
Well, it looked delicious and it made me hungry, and all I had were overnights.
Well, when you come back to LA,
gorgeous food.
I'll cook you some Thai food, or we could just go to the restaurant that the Thai food is from, because it was from a cookbook that's based off an LA restaurant.
I'll be back soon. I'll be home soon, honey.
I'll be home for Thai food. So
I'll be home for pad Thai. I'm a basic Thai food bitch.
Oh, I love pad Thai. Can I tell you something? We have a lot to talk about. We have this Below Deck episode is really, this is like classic mid-season Below Deck when everything is just out of control. But I do have to say, I have to talk about something before we get to Below Deck. And this is important. I think this is something that concerns all of us as Bravo fans, which is that a trailer was released today for NextGen New York City, which is this is the rumored show that we've been hearing about. That like we've been hearing stories like, oh, all the kids are shooting a show together, like Brooks and Gia and Ariana Bierman and things like that. The trailer dropped, and when I say it looks so good, I cannot even express how good this show looks. I don't really understand why Gia is there. It's like a very New York TikTok-y Gen Z over it kind of vibe. And Gia,
she is TikTok-y vibe. Hello.
She's not like New York City, like she's not like New York City. She's not like Brooks, right? Like I don't see a world where she and Brooks authentically ever hang out, you know?
Well, you know, that's what New York is like when you first go. As a child, I went when I was 18, and it was like, wow, you just meet all these different people, and it's just like a hodgepodge of people, weirdos hanging out together.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you. I think it looks so good. We are going to cover the fuck out of that show, and we're going to get in so much trouble because we were doing Crappy Hour, and we had like a little story. I mean, for me, it was very light shade. It's like Gia quit law school to be an influencer. Ooh, you know, we didn't like say you dumb slut. I mean, it was nothing like that. It was just like innocent jokes. Like, oh, now you said something like, oh, now she's, you know, thank God she's dropped being an immigration lawyer right at the time when people need immigration lawyers. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, thank God she's going to sell stretchy pants on Amazon now. I mean, who cares? It was a very light shade moment. People are so pissed. Those Tree fans are like, oh my God, making fun of children, you old mean queens.
They're going to have to get used to it.
Since when can't you make fun of people because you're old? Fuck off. You're on the wrong damn Instagram. I'll tell you that right now. Because I make fun of babies. Okay. I will make fun of a damn baby as it comes out of the womb. Get off my ass.
Not young enough to make fun of almost. Like I will go younger. I will go for your 4-year-old. I don't care. But I
will recap a preschool. Okay.
We will drag your toddler for filth. And I'm okay with that. And now, by the way, those great defenders of Gia and her honor, they now have completely lost like whatever claim that they had because she's just a little girl. It's gone because now she's on a reality show on Bravo. So all bets are off because guess what? This is my personal favorite genre that Bravo tries out every few years. Yeah, Gallery Girls. They did Gallery Girls. I guess you could put Princesses Long Island in this. You know, Real Girlfriends in Paris. I absolutely adored that show. It kind of like arrived like dead on arrival, but it was like I thought it was like an absolutely amazing show. And then now here we are again, NextGen New York City. And I think this is going to be the one that breaks through because we have Brooks Marks, who's already very funny. I was surprised at how much I was enjoying Ariana from the trailer. That's Kim Zolciak's daughter. Riley,
I didn't even know who that was. I was like, who's that? And why does she have all the screen time? Because she has like 80% of the screen time. I was like, who even is that?
Things. She's like, this is disgusting. I was like, yes, mother, queen, yes. But I'm also like, this is kind of the vibe of New York City that I feel like Roni was trying for and just couldn't quite get right. And then I'm just new Roni. And then Riley is on it, but I think she literally says nothing in the trailer. And like, you know, we think Riley is so wonderful and sweet and great, but I am concerned that she's not quite reality TV material. So we'll see. We'll see if she comes out of her shell on this show.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, they showed 4 people in the preview, I think, but then the poster is like 10 people.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of like non-children. non-Bravo children.
Non-children of Bravo stars.
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks good. So we'll do a trailer trash of that, I'm sure, in the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
But for now, let's get on to Below Deck Mediterranean. First of all, just before I forget to mention this damn fish. This is such a good show for fish. We've been called out for kind of forgetting the fish sometimes. The most amazing one today was like Venus, like the Audrey 2 from Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, the one that can't scallop. It was like a giant clam, right? It had a big close up. It was like open and then closed. Oh, great work.
And it's covered in moss. So it's green. It looks just like the Audrey 2 and it just opens its mouth and snaps it. That's what a scallop looks like?
Actually, it was not a scallop. That was a giant clam. And I think it was a giant clam. It was not a scallop. I apologize. I apologize to the scallop community. But it was like the Elaine Stritch of like mollusks down there. It was just like, all right, here's to the clams who lunch. It was just great. I love it. Great work.
Okay, so let's get to it. We start with a flashback. Okay. Well, it's not a flashback. We start with a flash forward, I guess. It's 12:13 a.m. And Harry's sobbing to Serena. He's like, I will fucking walk off this fucking bed tomorrow. There's nothing that will stop me. And I like that even when he cries, he sobs with his mouth wide open, like, just like he laughs. So he's consistent in his mouth opening emoji.
Yeah. Also, got to make Bree feel great. when he says, "There's nothing on this boat, not one single personal thing that would make me want to stay here. There's absolutely nothing." It's like, oh, well, so much for being excited about finally making out with a model.
I know, Bree's sitting at home like, what does it mean?
So then we see Johnny and Vian in their cabin. This is still in the flash forward. And Vian's like, "Johnny, what's going on? Can you please tell me what's going on? Johnny, Johnny, Johnny." It is actually very much like company. "Johnny, Johnny, Johnny, Johnny." And Johnny's like, "Shh, Greek shushes, Greek shushes." He's like, "What? Tell me what's happening." He's like, No, it's Greek shush. If I hear little,
as my grandmother would say, shush, 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 shush.
If I hear,
I just want to understand what's going on. What happened? And he's like, I hear a little bit more talking. This boat is going to sink. I promise you. And he's like banging on the cabinet. Now, this is what we've seen the whole season. And so the whole season, we're like, it's like our White Lotus, like, oh my God. What is Johnny mad about? Did Parker Posey finally find out the financial state of the boat? Like, what's going on?
Johnny, no. Yes. That's all right. But yeah, it's basically we've been waiting weeks to see the context of this, and then we see all the girls are scared and they're like crying, and it's like, oh my God. And then Johnny like goes up to the camera. And he's like about to punch the camera, but then he does that thing that like really macho men do, which is he kind of like bites his finger. He's like, "Oh," and then he like puts like a shirt over the camera instead.
I feel like we've made this reference 20 times in the past 2 weeks, but he is B. Arthur in The Golden Girls when she's like, she wants to kill somebody and she's like, "Oh," and she just eats her. She eats her fist. That's what he does. He goes right up to the camera and pulls a B. Arthur and then covers it with his underwear. Now, I knew that Vihan was depressed or something was going on. Like, Vihan's out of sorts because Vihan's in bed wearing underwear. And that's not like Vihan. He's usually naked. And so I was like, uh-oh, what happened to Vihan that he put his underwear on? He must be feeling like, like you need your security blanket. Maybe that's his underwear. But I was like, why is Vian in his underwear? That was the first mystery for this whole season. Was like, why do we have a scene with Vian in bed wearing his underwear? What is happening to this show?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Also, like the more humid it gets and the more like the longer he goes without a haircut, the more he starts to get Charlize Theron hair, which I think is really fun. Like his hair is sort of just getting like kind of like bigger and puffier and rounder, sort of like Charlize Theron in like a Dior ad. So maybe it's like a South African thing. I'm not sure, but it's just fascinating observations about him.
So Johnny's like, Vian's like, what did I do, bro? And he's like, this boat is fucking mental. So 16 hours earlier, Vian is talking with the captain. So they're talking about the foam party, and this is where he's tattletaling because he was confronted about cleaning right before breakfast. And so he's not in trouble again. He runs to do like a preemptive tattletale on everybody else. Yeah. So he runs to Captain Jason and he's like, "Captain, I have to tell you, the foam party was messy, but then I have people yelling at me about it, and these people don't know, and then they yell at me, and then they make me look like I'm doing something bad. I cannot work like this. I just can't do it." He's like, they're only looking out of their perspective.
And he's like, "All right, well, you know where the error is, and so don't throw anyone under the bus. Like, take the emotions out of it and take everything, take all the piss out of it, and just like come back and just go." He's basically, Jason's kind of like, "I see what you're doing here. You fix it. Stop throwing people under the bus."
He is, and Jason doesn't want to do anything. Like, we've seen him all season being like, "I'm not managing this boat. You do it." And so his advice is, "All right, you see that on the table there, that bag? I do. Bring it over here. Okay. Pop a couple of those out. Okay. Put them in my mouth. They're peanut M&Ms. Thank you very much. This meeting is now over. All right." So he's like, "Okay, no problem. Thank you." He's like, "Turn this thing around. Make a list. Make a list."
His actual advice, I forgot, was him saying, "Okay, here's what you do. Go up to Laura and say, 'Laura, you're right. I know a lot of things been going on.'" I love his advice to tell Laura that she's right. "Okay, I understand your concerns. Here's what I would do in your situation. I would tell Laura that she's right."
Yeah, placate Laura. Okay. He's got unstable eyebrows. Just do whatever she asks. So Jason tells us, with Leon, I'm seeing there's no accountability. And this is a concern. We've got two heads of department not getting along. That could bring the boat down. And on top of that, how many times has Leon needed to get his crew in line? He's walking a very thin line. And if he doesn't do something to change it, I won't. But I will hope that somebody else does while I sit up here and design kimonos.
He's walking a very thin line, and if he doesn't change things, well, unfortunately, I have to put a kimono on him. So now it's 9:27 a.m. It's the last day of charter, and Serena and Alicia are like working in the galley and everything, and Laura, is talking to guests about what to do for breakfast and everything, and they want to have breakfast around 10:30 and stuff. So Laura tells Serena that
do you want to have breakfast at 10:30? And Corinne goes, yes.
She has some fun little moments before she gets off the boat. Like everything, she's like, yes, I love a spoon. Yes.
Yes, not a spoon. I'm such a spoon girl. Yes.
So Vion goes up to Harry and he's like, so how was the deck this morning at 6? What was the game plan this morning at 6 o'clock in the morning? And Harry's like, well, when I woke up, I looked at this and I saw that the chart said that this area was done. So checked there was ticks here and ticks here. Everything was all done. So I went to the areas that weren't done, and that's what I did. But it turns out the things that said that they were done weren't done after all.
Yeah. And so, of course, Vihan is going to yell at him now about that. So he's like, first priority, sun deck. Okay, table. Because that's where we're coming out, right? And he's like, okay, but that stuff was already ticked off, which is why I didn't do it. He's like, okay, well, tick the ticks then. That's what we're going to do, huh? We're going to tick the tick. So.
Harry, listen, I'm getting all the blame for everything that's happening, not you. It's me. I'm getting the blame. I'm like, yeah, because you're a shitty leader. And Harry's like, no, I'm not saying that you're getting all the blame. I'm taking the blame too from you right now as you speak to me. You remember the words you just said 10 seconds ago? Those were aimed at me. I'm receiving it.
Yeah, and he's yelling at him for not ticking the ticks. You're the manager. Why didn't you come down and tick the ticks?
Yeah.
If you have a list and everything says it's done, why don't you go around and double check it? Which you didn't fucking do, Vion. Okay, sir. So he's like, well, from now on, sun deck is priority at night and in the morning. And in the evening, I want to have a drink. And in the morning, go over it again. Okay, so it's both ends. And he's like, okay, so we wet it in the morning. And he's like, no, we wet it in the evening. And he goes, so we don't wet it in the morning. He's like, no, I don't want to wet it in the morning. He's like, but I feel like he just said to me, rinse it at the night and then rinse it in the morning. He didn't. He said, rinse it at night and go over it in the morning. But still,
it was still a confusing directive.
It was confusing.
No, rinse it at night and then detail the bits. That's not what's being done in the morning. It's like, all right, well, hopefully the job at night gets done thoroughly, which is funny because also Vion's whole directive still doesn't solve the whole situation in the morning because it wasn't done at night, anything at night. So Harry's basically like, last charter season with Joao, there was clear communication and clear instruction and clear creepy vibes. And, he allowed room to grow. And we see flashbacks to Joao being a good bosun and everything. And
the worst he ever did was when he got mad one time and said, you're a stupid woman and you can't do anything. And this is why we didn't want you to vote.
Then he also added,
other than that, I'm Joao 5.0.
Back in Zim, this is how we do things. So, Jason Radio.
It's bad when we're when the show is like, wow, remember what a great leader Joao was.
Right.
What a hero.
That's a bad sign.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
So now Jason's rating someone for the anchor, and then Vion's checking on Zarina, see how she slept and everything, and she's saying she didn't really get to sleep or anything, and he's like, well, if you need a shoulder to sleep on, I'm always here. And she's like, are you flirting with me right now? Are you because don't make promises you can't keep. And Vion's nodding, I am flirting with you, which is fucked up because he's spending all this time and effort talking everyone's ear off about how much he likes it here.
Yeah, but that's his thing. He's like an hors d'oeuvre. He just wants to be eaten.
Passed around.
It's in his nature. Yeah, he's like, just pass me around. I'm not a solo meal. I'm not a sub sandwich. I'm tiny little bits of sandwich on a tray. So so Johnny sees him and he's like, bro, what are you doing? Come on. Vaminos. So then Corinne's taking photos on the boat in her bikini. And she's like, yes, hold on. Let me turn so you can get my good side. And then she turns and like gives the girl her butt. And the girl's like, oh my God, that is your good side. That's an amazing butt. She's like, yeah, I'm going to like take pictures and I'm going to think I look amazing. But then I'm going to look at the pictures and I'm going to be like, oh,
been there. So then Vion, I'm like, welcome to my life every single day. So Vion,
I'm past the point of even thinking the pictures are going to look good. I don't even look anymore. If people are like, hey, can I post this? I'm like, just post it. Don't show it to me. Let's not go down like the shame spiral right now. Please just post it.
Who was talking the thing about Brad Pitt recently? Who was saying something about Brad Pitt recently that
Denise Richards' husband.
Oh yeah. Denise was saying like, Rand's always like, well, if they want to do an article with me, like whatever, I'll take the photo because I know the photos will look good, but I'm not going to read the article because the article is bad. I'm the opposite. I'm like, I'll do the article. I'm just not going to look at the photo.
Yeah. Do we have anybody that can just draw me? That would be great.
Could Roz Cast do a cartoon of me? I think that might be an improvement.
Can I get like a courtroom drawing done of my face? So Corinne takes her photos. Okay, so then Vion and Johnny are talking, and Vion's like, oh, the sun deck was a mess. And he's like, well, the fun party was something else. Imagine I had the water open for 3 straight hours. And he's like, well, I don't think Harry quite understands. When you tick it off, he thinks that I don't have to look. Yeah. Well, why aren't you pissed that Johnny? Why aren't you telling Johnny why did you tick it off when it wasn't finished? No, because Johnny's your little ass kissing friend, so you're not going to give him any shit.
Didn't Johnny even last episode say something like, "Oops, I ticked it off when I shouldn't have"? Didn't he like admit that he had made a mistake with that board? And like, why is he not really saying, "Oh, that was my bad. I shouldn't have ticked it off"? Whatever. I agree. Like the Johnny has some should have some accountability in this stupid foamy situation.
Yeah, but Vion's doing that thing where he's gathering troops to just shit talk. It's like whoever will sit there and listen to him shit talk everybody else, he's going to keep them on his side so he can spread his virus, his Vihan virus all over the boat.
And then he was like, after everything when I woke up, everything I had to do. And then we see he's like, everything I had to do this morning, and just cuts to him and Adair having like coffee and like talking about coffee and just like hanging out in the galley where like Jason has to call down, be like, all right, deck team, we're gonna need you on deck now. He's like, oh, let's go up there. And he's like, after everything I had to do this morning.
list of things to do. Cut to him like sitting on the edge of the boat, like, what rhymes with love?
How do you put together
I've rhymed love with love.
So Jason is speaking to Laura. So by the way, I'm really enjoying Laura because my favorite thing is when the captain and the chief stew become like have Kiki moments, and I just love when I love that vibe, and they've started to develop that here. So Jason's like, all right, so what happened? You look like you're about to tell me something. And she's like, oh, with Vihan, I mean, I asked him why he was doing K2R when the guests were up. And he's like, well, his time should have done that last night. It's like, yeah, no one was told what to do, and it didn't get done. And he'll just say, Johnny should have done it. And if something isn't done in the interior, it's ultimately my fault because I haven't picked up on it, and I should have delegated it. So it's really his fault.
And he's like, well, here's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get the Phoenix to rise up. The Phoenix has to be in the air before it can rise back up. He hasn't been in the air. The Phoenix does not rise from the air. That's not a Phoenix.
I've got some bad news. It's just a pile of ashes. There wasn't. That bird wasn't there in the first place. Okay, the Phoenix,
it's a burnt up cigarette on the ground.
What you're looking at is some shit from the Phoenix that pooped on some ashes while it was flying over, going to a different boat. But there was never a Phoenix in that pile. That's just ashes, and they're not turning into anything.
So Corinne's like, oh my God, is that Saver? We've been waiting for Saver. Hi, Saver. I can't with the name Saver. I'm still mad at the name Saver.
I can't stand him. Saver, just so everyone knows, last week I thought his name was Savior. Thank God it's not that, but it is Saver, Sayvor. So I guess his parents Well, I don't know. Maybe it's like a name from like a different culture. But if it's an American name, then it's like they wanted to name him after the concept of savoring something, but they added a Y in there. So it's like just because I guess.
Yeah, I think he's an American. I mean, he
I wasn't sure if it's like some like
he
Eastern
seems to be
Bloc.
an American guy.
I wasn't sure if it was
Maybe.
like Russian name or something.
Or maybe
like
he's like from like the Great Valpak Empire. You know, those are his parents. It's like Seva Valpak.
Savor does feel a bit like the name Savor does.
His sister is named Penny.
It does feel a little bit like some sort of like pharmacy. Maybe it's because there was Save On pharmacies back in the day.
Yeah. So she's like, we've been waiting for you, Savor. And he's like, have you? Well, the show has arrived. So now he's unbearable. So now they're
unbearable.
By the way,
why? That's
he's
perfect.
Unbearable.
He's unbearable.
He is. So every time he gets into a kayak, I'm like, sink it. But there he is. So they're like getting breakfast and having fun. And then Vihan is talking to Johnny still. And he's like, I don't know why Lara is so angry at me, bro. He's like, can you explain to me? Let me ask you this. Can you explain to me why? Why are you so sensual? Like every girl, you're so sensual, you know? You just come so close and then feeling bottom, you know, all this. Why?
Oh, it's just being nice. That's all. He's like, you go to your mother in her face and go, hello, mama. And he's like, gets right up into Vian's face. And he's like, well, I kiss my mom. He's like, no, enough is enough. I don't want to know more. She's like, no, but it's not like I'm making out. It's like pics on the hands. Like, hi, mom. It's a thing in South Africa. Like, you kiss everyone. Like, the Italians will go and show, you know, that's how we do it. Like, we're like Italians. They say South Africans are the Italians of South Africa. So, like, we go down the lips.
He's like, just stay away from Alicia. Yeah. No close. No sensual. No sensual. Untick sensual. Untick. So then the water toys and stuff. And then Jason radios Marine into the bridge. He was a smartass to him and told him, oh, really? What if you don't eat? You get grumpy and you start micromanaging things? So she's in trouble. So she has to go up there.
So he's like, all right, now let's talk about the other day. You made a comment back to me, which was not nice, but made it worse that you weren't wearing kimono. I would have accepted it in the kimono, but when you're in uniform, won't accept it. She's like, I overstepped 100% line, and I'm so sorry for you being hangry and micromanaging me. She's like, well, all right, well, you just did it again. And like, if that's, you know, that's all you got to worry about, that's not a big deal. But like, what else is going on? Sis?
She's like, well, you know, I mean, I love to do service. I love it with all my heart. You know, I wake up in the morning and think, God, I can't wait to sell somebody French toast. Mm-hmm. But, you know, if they need me in laundry, then I decided I'll do it to help Laura. I will do it. Mm-hmm. And she says, you know, she was hopeful to be in service like Laura promised, but she didn't get it. So Laura got very defensive. And he's like, well, she told me about that. And you said it in front of other people. And when I heard about it, I did not have an M&M in my mouth. So you can imagine how that made me feel. Micromanaging, old man. Okay. Yeah. All right.
You really have to work on that. Out of every crew member, I want to see some growth, and you're doing a very solid job. You're very strong, and my advice to you is peanut M&Ms. But if you're interested in a mix-up, a remix, I should say, peanut butter M&Ms, just as delicious. Give it a try.
Mm. So then she's like, oh, he is such a smart guy, you know, and it was so nice to feel validated with someone with so much experience. So I see him as a mentor. So he sees how hard I'm working. He likes it. And you know what? Every time I get a piece of his underwear, I think, God, he's trusting me with these, you know? So I'm happy now. I'm better. Plus, it's good not to be fired.
That part too. So let's bring up that anchor. And then this guy, Billy, who I think is the primary, he's like, oh, man, Cindy is texting me like, can you push the breakfast back? I'm like, I'm the primary. She's like very demanding. And someone's like, who? It's like, Cindy. And you know, she's not even my girlfriend. Ew, Cindy? Yeah, Cindy. Which, by the way, he met Cindy a week ago. So it is kind of funny that she's making demands. But then again, she's also allowed to say, can we push the breakfast back 30 minutes? I'm not ready.
No, you've got a whole crew of people up there. Nobody even knows your ass. Get your ass out of bed if you want the breakfast. Or say, could you save me a plate? Don't hold it for everybody else. In great Cindy. Okay, you're out of there, Cindy. You're one week Cindy, I'm going to call you.
1 week Cindy. No, I think it's reasonable to say, I think it's like if you wake up in bed with a person that you just like, had a sleepover with, and you're like, oh, can we push breakfast back like 30 minutes? I think that's okay. But then to make a demand, I think Cindy needs to like settle down. Okay. Because Cindy, you're lucky you got.
If you just wake up with that person, but if you wake up and there's like 8 other people upstairs waiting for breakfast, like, no, Cindy, we don't know you.
I don't know why I'm dying on the Cindy Hill. I really have no horse in the Cindy race, because I also, when I watched it, I was like, fuck Cindy. But then as I started to say it, I started to feel bad. I felt like, are we just like throwing Cindy under the bus? Is there like more to the story with Cindy? Like, I kind of feel like maybe Billy might not be a reliable narrator, and he might be throwing Cindy under the bus, and she may have just made like a simple ask, like to see if maybe it could happen. And then he, and if it was like, maybe her vibe was like, oh, it's fine. If you can, it's fine. I was just seeing if it could, like, if everyone's down with it, but like now all of a sudden we're like, oh, Cindy's such a mega bitch. And maybe it's like Billy who actually created this narrative instead of Cindy.
No, Cindy sucks.
Yeah, she probably sucks.
I mean, Billy doesn't seem great either. What do you expect, Billy? You're lifting people up and being like, oh, and now I've known you for a week, and now I'm taking you on a cruise. You make someone feel like they're a movie star. They're going to start acting like that very quickly. That's what you get, Billy.
But they all are getting
left her in the hotel bar where you found her. Okay, Billy, that's it. Because Cindy's trash.
Cindy is trash.
Who knows it? Everybody in the hotel bar.
Everyone knows this.
Cindy's very demanding.
Well, because they're all saying it. They're like, yeah, Cindy's demanding. This is code for like, why did you bring Cindy onto our friend trip? Like, this was going to be like such a fun time. Why did you bring this random girl that you met at the airport? Because she's ruining everything.
Because I'm aging and I don't want to go on national TV and look like I'm alone while everybody else has a hot girlfriend. So I got Cindy.
Well, Cindy causes like mass destruction because essentially they now are going to push back breakfast 30 minutes, which means that now it's like, well, you can put out like the light breakfast items, like the continental breakfast things, like hard-boiled eggs or whatever, and then some pastries, and then like hardcore breakfasts that can come out in 30 minutes. But unfortunately, down in the Galley, Zarina has just put the final flourishes on the hardcore breakfast, and it can't just like sit around for 30 minutes because it's like it's ephemeral breakfast food that will die. So now there's drama, and it's creating drama between Laura and Serena, all because of Cindy.
Yeah. So Serena's like, all right, 3 minutes and we're going to serve everything. It's going to be so sexy, so delicious. Don't forget to serve the syrup with a fork. All right. And then Laura calls down and she's like, no, change it up. We can't do this. And she's like, well, I was told to go for service. I've got all the food down here. I can't just reheat it. All right. So just take it up. Just apologize. Serena's like, no. It's made and you gave me a time and I'm sending it. And that's it. She's not a fucking magician.
Yeah.
Okay.
Laura's like, all right. Well, there's only one of us running food at the moment. And then Vion's like, oh, because he's hearing this. He goes, how do you not have anyone to run food? It's because people on her staff are actually working as opposed to your motley crew that puts in a sinking jet ski into the ocean and then jerks off half the rest of the day. So then Alicia's just talking about, she's picking up on vibes between Zarina and Laura, and she's like, I don't really have a strong sense of their history, but what I can feel is that things are starting to get a little bit crumbly. No one wants to be the first one to bite, but they just keep nibbling at each other, which actually made me so happy to hear, because this was kind of something they set up in the first episode and then we never got back to it, that like that Laura and Zarina have a past, and that Laura, we secretly believe, doesn't actually really like Zarina at all. And so it's exciting to think that we might be returning to this concept.
Yeah, because I like that in the beginning when Laura's like, yeah, Serena, she really tries so hard, especially with the men. I remember she liked one guy on the boat and she made a little trail of candy wrappers and snacks that went from her bed into his bed. And it was just so sad.
I think that, and the funny part is like, that was an actual story.
That's an actual story. And then didn't Serena say, yeah, it's like, she's Barbie. And I'm just like, weird Barbie.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So they've been like all chummy. They've been very chummy this season. And now I'm like, oh, good. We're getting back to the fact that they actually have tension. So
they have a greater villain, right? So they have a greater villain to fight, which is Vihan. And so right now that's occupying their time. But if Vion gets fired, it's on between these two.
Yeah, it's going to be a disaster. So, Vion takes food up to Marina and Adair or whatever. And then, I don't know, it's basically, they serve the breakfast regardless. And Laura's very self-conscious because she feels like she's like, I'm the face of the meal service. So it must be nice having strong opinion when you're hiding in the galley. I'm like, okay, settle down. It's fine.
Yeah, calm down over there. She's like, I am the face. When you look at a sunny side egg, you see me. Right. Laura.
They want to call them eggs Lauradict. And I said, no, too much.
French Lara. So, you know, William's down there trying to get fucking Cindy. He's like, are you ready? She's like, no, but I guess I'll come. He's like, well, everyone's got PJs. You know, should I put my robe on? She's like, what do I care? I'm eating breakfast early. Like, who fucking cares what I think? This is gonna look like the fucking hunchback of Notre Dame come down from a fucking bell to eat a goddamn egg because you couldn't have breakfast now.
We also have a moment in here with Saber where he's like, ew, bananas and oranges. He says bananas and oranges or something like that. And he's like, I don't eat vegetables. I'm like, okay, Saber.
Oh,
right, you can just throw yourself off that boat right now. There's a hungry moray eel down there.
Mrs. Valpak is at home like, God, he's embarrassing.
So then Zarina's like,
just fake it, Saver, for Christ's sake. No one at the country club will talk to me as it is, Saver.
So Zarina's like, are they okay? And I was like, yeah, but the primary is primary was like, don't bring any of the stuff until Cindy's up, and being the face of service, it's a bit hard because I'm the last thing that they see before they eat their eggs, and it's a lot of pressure on me.
As the face of breakfast, it was a rough morning. Let me just tell you. Meanwhile, upstairs, Corinne goes, what's this? And Saber says jam. And she goes, oh my God, love a jam.
Yeah.
Love a jam.
I love a jam.
She didn't know what it was.
She didn't.
What the fuck do you think it is, Corinne? Have you ever seen a jam that's like disguised as something else? It's a fucking jam.
Is this popcorn? It's jam. Oh my God.
I love Snickers, smart. It's jam, Corinne.
So then Zarina
she just like got lightly told off, as you said. Yeah. Sorry. So Alicia's like, are you okay? And she's like, oh yeah. I mean, she's a chef. She doesn't understand the timings of food. Fucking breakfast face over there. God.
Eggy face.
So Johnny comes in and gives a little flower to Alicia, and he's like, I'm just going to give this to you. And she's like, oh, that's very sweet. You're very romantic, so thoughtful. And Serena's like, don't you remember we used to be best friends before she came? God damn it. Get French toast from his bed into mine. See how this works out for that little slut.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
Meanwhile, Jason, okay, now there's a moment. This is another building block to the tension that happens at 12:13 a.m., which is that Jason's like, all right, please unhook the tenders and drive them off. So Vion's like, okay, I think that we can get those tenders away. Harry, could you use the gray tender to pull the other tender away from the boat? So then we see the boat and we see the two tenders, and they get like the below deck highlight circle. So I was like, oh, and then I like rewound it like 5 times to make sure I had like full spatial awareness of what was going on. I was like, okay, that's the gray one, that's the white one. I'm gonna need to know this information. I was like, something's about to happen.
The Tender's a Brooder film. So he gets them hooked. He's like, okay, gotcha. Use the gray one to tow the other one. Got it. Okay, I'll be good. So then Vion's like, Harry, you might want to tow that tender with the other tender. And Harry's like, I'll do it like that when I get away. And he's like, oh God, fucking Harry, whatever. So I don't really understand what happened. What was Harry doing?
So Harry explains that if he had put the white tender behind the gray tender sort of and towed it that way, because of the direction of the water, the gray tender could have swung out, kind of like a car fishtailing, and it could have swung out and like hit the boat. So he instead took the two tenders and put them side by side like two horses And he kind of like, it was actually really adorable the way he did it. It was like he was like shepherding along these two like tenders that were friends, and he was like, he guided them out side by side. And so Vion is like, no, do it the way I told you to, but it's not totally clear. I mean, if I were Harry at that point, I would have been like, fine, if you say you want to do it this way, I would have actually, it's not a good employee thing, but sometimes when you have a boss who's on a power trip, you just do it. And then it's like, although again, he knows it's going to probably bop into the boat, and then Harry will be the one who'll get in trouble, not Vion. So Harry did the right thing. I take it all back. But either way.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't really tell. But then Harry says, he goes on the radio and he's like, Captain, just to let you know, I'm going to cruise in at this post behind you. All right. I think it's best. Do you agree? And
very undermining,
Jason,
by the way.
Yeah, he does
undermine. That was Harry is not totally innocent. Harry is a bit of he is a tattler and he is an underminer. So, he's like a good worker, but like, but when not, I'm sorry to interrupt. When he's a good worker and he's like a good guy, but like he has shown that he's been a little bit of an underminer to his boss, even though his boss is a total idiot.
Yeah. And Jason says, all right, yeah, mate, if you can get in there like that, that's fine. And he's like, all right, copy. I think that's best. And Vion hears. So he radios Harry and he's like, Harry, I want you to tour it with the other one, like I told you before. And he's like, but one after the other, though. I can do that. But by the time I set that up, you'll be in front of me. You're going to beat me in anyway. Does it save any time? And he's like, well, if you've done it the way I told you, then you would have been in port already.
Because, well, I heard you said, it's like, and Beyond's like, what? Did I not tell him? Did I not say anything? It's like, and then Harry says, don't yell at the team, which is like, I can't believe you guys are having this conversation on the radio right now. At this point, Harry just says, okay, got it. And you just do it. And then whatever the consequences are, the consequences are. So Jason's like, all right, guys, come on now. Let's talk with each other with respect on the radio. Got a nice little kimono for both of you if you're good boys at the end of this charter. So come on. Let's get it together.
Laura asks Johnny, she says, what's happening, Johnny? And he's like, I don't know, fucking dumbass.
So then Vion is like, he thinks he knows better than me. But boy, you've got a long time to go in the industry. Like, do your fucking job, bro.
Johnny just tells him, calm your titties. All right, calm them. Calm your titties.
Should we just reference the sinking jet ski again that almost drowned the person who couldn't swim? Because what part of the many years in the industry does that fall under?
Yeah. So then Harry comes back to the boat and he comes in to Bree and he's like, I'm so sweaty, but good morning. And she's like, oh my God, he kissed me. Do you think we should talk about it? And Vion's like, another charter gone. So now they're all saying bye to the guests and stuff. And we get a speech from Billy. He's like, you guys were absolutely amazing, except you, Cindy. Fuck. And, the foam party, never seen a foam party like that. Savor ate the foam, even though you guys told him not to. He threw up a lot, but he lost some weight. So that was good. So Saber thanks you. Okay, good for now. Do you want to say anything, Camille? She's like, you guys, that peanut butter was really good. It was jam, Camille. It was jam. I love the jam.
Corinne.
Oh, Corinne. I always called her Camille. Even on The Bachelor, I kept calling her Camille.
She has Camille energy, to be honest. So
she does. Thank you.
Yeah, some people just have Camille energy. So they're all sweating, so they get into their blues and everything. And Vion is like, he radios Jace. He's like, the jet skis are in the clear of the tenders. We're just preparing the new tenders now. He's like, and then Harry's like, by the way, Vion, remember the orange jet ski wasn't fueled last night? And Vion's like, Harry, we are honored. Thank you. It's like, why does he have to always use me? It's because he knows you didn't know, and that like if at this point, I guess I'm vacillating a lot, but also like Harry's an underminer, but he's also doing that thing where he's like, okay, at this point, I realize I have to put all this stuff on the record, aka on a radio, because if I don't, I'm gonna get blamed for all this shit when it wasn't my fault.
That's true, but he is still being hugely undermining, and I hate even sticking up for Vion because Vion's really such a piece of shit, but Harry is going for it. He's at war right now. He's doing like, yeah, the jet ski wasn't fueled last night. Just want to remind you, stupid. He's like, ugh. So, and then he's like, oh, I'm just reminding him. Why is he getting angry with me?
Because I think like the way you do it, if you have a genuine concern about the jet ski, you might say, hey, by the way, I think the jet ski may need some more fuel. You just say that. You don't say, oh, the jet ski wasn't refueled last night is like a passive aggressive, like someone didn't do their job, right?
Yeah. So then Vihan is talking to Johnny and he's like, what? Does he want to be bosun or something? Because honestly, shut up. I know who's been talking shit about deck crew. And Harry, what the fuck, bro? Like, why did he say these things? He's just creating problems. Which is true, but you're doing the same thing by going around shit-talking everybody and spreading poison everywhere. Vion is a poison spreader. And you had no problem undermining everybody else when you tattletaled about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
After you were caught not handling your job, sir. So it's kind of a clusterfuck all the way around.
Yeah, exactly. Johnny's like, he just makes you look bad. It's all like, look at this fish, bro. It's good. It's so beautiful, beautiful fish. And there was actually a very beautiful tropical fish that was just there by the wall. I was like, what are you doing here, fish? You should be out in the ocean by the coral. You're lost. So Johnny's kind of funny.
Oh my gosh, this is such bad news. I'm usually do not like doing this with bad news, but Jackie Siegel's husband David passed away.
Oh,
that's so crazy. Jacqueline was on this show, The Queen of Versailles. Oh, sending our heart out to Jackie and her family. Jeez.
Oh, that's sorry. Our condolences.
Hey, sorry. I shouldn't look at my phone during a freaking recap. I mean, my God.
All right, well.
But sending our love out to them.
Yeah.
Her butterfly necklace. Remember? We were just talking about little Hannah Ferrier before this. Okay, so we go back to where were you? Let us look at this fish.
Beautiful fish. Beautiful fish. I was I was contemplating the life of the beautiful fish that has somehow made its way into this port.
It's cute. Not have been. It looks so beautiful. Look at this fish. Look how it is not sexy on everybody. Look, it is not seductive. Be like this fish, Vihan. Be like this fish.
So, tip meeting, charter number 5. I'm going to take a long pause to show that I'm upset. And pause is over. Every time I do a season or of captain or on a boat or a crash into a dock, I'm not looking for Utopia crew. You're looking for personalities that want to be here and want to do a hell of a lot. And I think if we all own some of the things that we've been doing, instead of blaming other people or situations, let's just fix it. This is basically just a speech for Vion, but I'm going to be nice and make it seem like I'm talking to everyone, but I'm clearly just speaking to Vion.
All right, Vion and Harry, I heard you back and forth on the radio. That's unacceptable. It's negativity. Once you start negativity, bitching, complaining, that infection starts. All right, and what do you do with an infection? You wait for it to fester, and hopefully Norma of the Seychelles will take care of it for you. If not, I'm going to have to do something. And we all know I'm barely here right now. All right. Do you know how difficult it was for me to even come out of the bridge? Very difficult. So don't make me do this again. You made $25,000. Congratulations. And tonight you don't have the helmet. Even though Vihon's a complete fuck up yet again, I'm going to not give him the helmet yet a fucking again. All right.
He's like, it's honestly just too hot and humid to make anyone wear this thing. It's just cruel at this point. And Adair's like, oh, it's so cute. I want to wear it to the bar. And Jason's like, all right, fine. You can wear it. All right,
at the very least, it'll make so many little dots on V-hand that he'll just start staring at himself like a cat trying to chase a laser. Stop trying to kiss me so much.
All right, now it's not a punch bowl, so stop pouring all the beer in it. Okay, now you're chugging out the. All right, I've got to admit that actually looks pretty fun.
That's an Alabama slammer.
That's what I call me helmet head back in Alabama. I love chug beers out of helmets. Football helmets, motorcycle helmets, construction helmets, anything, really.
Hey, you know what? If you start playing a football game and I put this helmet up, I can watch a football game on 100 little different screens.
Stupid.
All right. Well, Mia Discovery aside, tomorrow you will be waking up and I've got a trip to a private national park beach for you. Are we excited? And Harry's like, so we have a day off. We have a day off.
Howard, Adair hated that. She's like,
Wow, private, what sanctuary? Why don't we go to Seychelles football stadium?
I was hoping we could get a tub of water and we could all go hot dog bobbing.
They got a BW Square around here.
They got bulls there.
No, they don't have bulls. All right. So Jason leaves them with talk civilly to each other. All right. Bye. So then, Vion texts Serena and he's like, so I've got a date with Adair tonight and I'm not sure how she feels. Meanwhile, Adair's just like staring at the ball, like trying not to fall down. She's like,
wow, this helmet's crazy up close.
If I hold a beer up to the helmet and I see 45 in the reflection, is this a 45 pack or is it still just one beer?
So basically, by the way,
How many beers at one time? Bad, work's not even over.
Vion texting Zarina about the date, I feel like is a manipulation because he knows that Zarina's into him. He knows this, but he's also kind of like, he's writing this thing under the guise of like, I need emotional support or I need advice, but it's also kind of his way of saying like, I'm into someone else. I feel like it's almost, it's not that he's rubbing it in her face, but he's trying to like get her jealous or something, get her like
gotta keep them all on the string.
Yeah, an emotional response out of her. I think it's weird. It's very weird to me. So then Harry goes up to Vion and goes, that tone on the radio, I didn't like it. Which, by the way, none of us liked it. It was obnoxious, but also it's like, that's your boss. Like you, like just going up to your boss and saying that to your boss. I don't know. Like that seems, I'm glad he stood up for himself, but like you're playing a dangerous game when you're with like a short man with a power complex. And then you go and you say that to him.
And it's like, yeah, he said, if you did it my way, I'd be back at the dock already. I didn't like that. And he's like, well, I'm definitely not being firm enough, Harry. Don't take it personally. And he's like, oh, no, I'm just thinking, it's personal. And he's like, well, just let me run the boat, Harry. Okay. And if something wrong, come to me. And if there's nothing wrong, then leave me alone. And he's like, God, fine. Jeez.
So then Bree and Lara are lying in a bed together, and Lara's just like, I need a bit of a recharge. Like the lights are off and everything, except for like a reading light. And she's like, this whole thing with Vihan, just not ever validating anything. I'm saying it's awful. And Bree's just sort of consoling her. And Lara's just saying like, he gives you an excuse and he storms off. Then he goes and he tells Jason, I just hate that animosity. And like, me and Vihan haven't spoken since yesterday. Like we haven't been in the same area together. It's hard when you're the face of breakfast.
Meanwhile, Vion and Johnny are talking, and Vion's like, you are my right-hand man. And he's like, yeah, you're like my brother, my very sensual brother. and Vion says, well, I want to talk to you about everything, because we do everything together. You know what? People envy. Especially women, when they hit a certain age, like old Laura Benedict in there, they don't have anything going on for them anymore. They're just old. What you do with an old woman, but put her out, turn her out. You can't even add milk to that to make it a decent breakfast. You know what I'm saying? Thank God we aren't women. In their fucking lives, their lives are terrible. And then they start yapping. They start yapping the whole time. Are anybody ever wanting to date Vihan? This is the only clip you ever need to see of this man. Like,
yes, exactly. And by the way, who is the one who's yapping at the moment? Who's the one who's yapping and gossiping right now?
It's you. Who's walking around trying to sow discord literally to everyone on this boat? You.
This is what men always
insecure, tiny man.
This is what men always do. And I say this as a man because I know this firsthand. Men will always be like, oh, women are so emotional. All they do is yap and gossip. You know who the biggest gossips are? Men. Men are the biggest gossips. All they do is gossip and all they do is yap. And when people say, oh, a woman, too emotional, be in power. Oh, well, like who's the emotional people? Men. Who starts the wars? Men. Small dick emotions. Okay. So get over
cry
it.
During football.
Yeah.
That's how they are. They're like, the national anthem's so beautiful. Shut up. Just shut up. Pass the Cheetos. Christ. So then, Serena and Laura are talking, and she's still in the bed with Brie, and so Serena's like, "What in the lesbian name is this? That's all right. I just watched very not weirdly at all, right?" And she puts her like vag in their faces.
Laura's like, "You think
They're
she's
like-
joking, but she's not."
She can whistle Dixie with that thing. Just give her enough time. And so Laura's like, "Well, what do you think is going to happen this evening? Is Vion taking Adair out on a date?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, a date, yeah. He actually just messaged me. He basically was like, he doesn't even know if she likes him, and she's playing hard to get and stuff, And I said, "Well, you'll find out tonight." Did he say that in the text? Maybe they cut some of these texts out, but he didn't say that in the text that we saw.
I don't know. So then Zarina, she walks over to Vion's cabin and she gives him a hug, and it's like a big old hug. And Harry's like, "Oh, consent hasn't been. Oh, okay, all right, Vion, why are you grabbing that? Why are you touching that for, Vion?" And he's like being jokey, but also like, is he being jokey? So Vion's like, "Oh, Harry, please come on." So he's like, "Oh, don't squeeze too hard, darling." So it's like a funny, jokey, huggy, but it's still flirty. It's still Vion, like
they're all over each other.
Yeah,
That's their
Vion's
thing.
still like
Serena too.
If Vion said that he wanted to establish a boundary a few episodes ago, but he's totally down. He's happy to have been on record saying he wanted to establish a boundary, but is very happy to be blurred with his boundaries.
Well, he's only setting a relationship boundary. He'll fuck anybody.
Yeah, but
Right.
but meaning
And
that like
at this point, Serena doesn't care. So whatever.
Well, no, but
I mean,
this
she knows
way
he's like literally texting another girl. He's texting her about texting another girl, and she's still all over him. So I don't know. I think she's just like, have your fun.
yeah, but I'm just saying that Vion is. It's one of those things where Vion he went and he made his little tour of like, "I'm not into you." So he basically built in the clause of like, "I'm not into you. So if you get into me, you're the crazy one." When in fact, he's perfectly happy to have these flirty moments and kissy moments. And then if something were to happen, he'd be like, "But I told you I wasn't into you. You should know." So it's like,
but that would be true in this case because he did very clearly I mean, isn't it okay to just have the boundary where you're like, "I don't want to date you, but like if you still want to be all over me, you can."
no, but in this case,
It feels like at least he's saying that because he's not fuckboying where he's like doing the emotional thing. Like,
but I think in this case,
like,
it's
that's
not
when
so
it
much
makes
with
me
Zarina.
crazy.
I'm sorry, I just talked over you, but like, it's not about like his relationship with Zarina. It's that like, if he is now going after Adair and then Adair finds out that he was kissy feely with Zarina, he'd be like, "Oh, but I'm not into, I told you I wasn't into it." I was like, "Yeah, but you weren't into her. You're into someone else. You say you're not into this other person. You don't create any sort of boundary to say, no, I don't want to do anything physical or have any flirtations with you because I want to like, so that's where I think he's just so slippery in that he has built himself in this like thing where he can say, "But I told her I wasn't into her," yet he still acts in a certain way. And so if he gets called out for it by someone like Adair, let's say, which looks like it's probably going to happen, he can be like, "No, I'm not into her at all. I've told her." And so it's just like, I just think he's just a fuckboy and he's just trying to have it, he's trying to have his cake and eat it too, as we've said in the past.
Yeah. So then now it's time to go out and Adair's getting ready for her date. And so she meets up with Vion and he's like, "You look so beautiful." She goes,
Don't I look crusty?
he's like, "No, you're not too crusty." And she's
She's
like,
like, "Well, the issue is my face is so tan and my body's so pale. Like, it looks ridiculous. A farmer's tan."
and he's like, you are gorgeous. So Alicia is talking to Johnny and she says, I know that you and the bosun share a room, but if I just come in later and just cuddle, like, that's all right, right? Is that appropriate? And he's like, "Sharing my bed with you is lovely, and I would do that. It is respectful. Let us do it." Sha, 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 sha.
"You are beautiful like fish in port." So then Viana and Adair sit down at the sushi restaurant and he's like, "So, would you like some red wine?" She's like,
Yeah, I'm new to the red wine scene.
He's like, "Oh, the States wine are so weird." She's like,
Yeah, California, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs out there. I'd like to go. You know what I'd like to do though? I want to go to a vineyard one day and just drink a whole bunch of beer. What I want to do is drink beer and then pee on all those grapes, those stupid red wine grapes.
Piss all over those fucking snotty ass grapes, right?
And he's like, have you ever been to Napa Valley? She goes,
Well, I mean, I've traveled a decent bit, but no. I've been to the Great Lakes, though.
and he's like, what? The Great Lights? She goes,
No, the Great Lakes. They're like good lakes, but better.
He's like, oh, lakes.
He has no idea what they are. He's like, oh, yes.
Oh. He's like, wow. Yeah. This is the most awkward date in the world, by the way.
Yes.
And she's like,
Yeah, this morning I heard.
oh no. So then we go to Laura and Harry talking. It's like, oh, this morning. I was like, oh my God. When I heard that radio call, first of all, I had to stare at the phone and then wipe the yolk off of it. Because other people have to remember to hold it away from my face. And I said, that's not nice. That is not nice.
He's like, you heard it, yeah? Did I do a good job undermining? She's like, I mean, in front of everyone. I mean, you should have seen, if my face could have turned red, it would have. But unfortunately, it's covered in egg because I am the face of breakfast.
He's like, oh my God. He said, if you did it my way, you'd be at the dock right now. She's, oh my God. And he did it on the radio. On the radio. Yeah, I mean, but in fairness, after Harry called and undermined him to Jason on the radio. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you've reached the end of part 1 of a 2-part recap. For part 2, go look for the recap that says part 2. See you over there, suckers.
Watch what Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Our way is the Amber way.
It's the Foster and the Furious. It's Amanda Foster.
It's always automatic with Ashley Auto.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Put your hands together for Carly Clapp.
Catherine DiBernardo has our hardo.
Get on the right foot with Chrissy Offutt. Dana C. Dana Do. She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Etchels. We never miss her call, it's Diane Call.
Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas.
Hava Nagila Weber.
You'll never hide from Heidi Eleanor Jones.
I go, you go, we all go for Hugo.
Jamie, she has no last namey.
We could all learn from Jennifer Kearns.
She's our kind of mess, it's Jennifer Messer.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
Knock, knock, knocking on Katie Mannock's door.
She's our favorite streamer, Caroline Peacock.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Get a bee in your bonnet with Lacey B.
Bringing the funk, it's Leslie Plunkett.
She gets an A from us, it's Lindsay D. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. Fresh as a daisy, it's Maisie McHenry. We love her on the rocks, it's Melissa Cox. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
This is Livin' with Michelle Vivian.
I love ya, Olivia Williamson. Tastier than Flanderson, it's Rachel Manderson.
She sure is swell. It's Raquel.
Yes, we canna, it's Savannah.
Cast a spell with Shannon Spellman.
Let's share with Sharon Eldridge.
The Bay Area Betches. Betches.
And our super premium sponsors. She's VVIP, it's Amanda V. Can't lose when you're with Amy Baldwin.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides. Let's go into the woods with Guy Tubbs.
Who, what, why, where, and Gwen Pentland.
It's our queen, it's Queen Laifa.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall.
Know your worth with Jason Kurth.
We got our wish, it's Jen Plish. She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch. She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo.
She gets an A, it's Kelly B.
We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley.
We're ride or die for Lisa Ryder Barron.
She's a whiz, it's Liz Sarthy.
Always killing it, it's Lola Alkalani.
The incredible edible Matthews sisters. She eases our woes, it's Melissa St. Rose. We're on the floor with Molly Dorset.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
There's a chance of meatballs, it's Rebecca Cloud.
She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
It's always a good time when you're wasting time with Bravo. She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.